What's going on, guys? Today is going to be the first video I ever did on Storytime. Stay tuned. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy HD, and welcome back to another episode of Techno Chatter. Appreciate everybody that's been subbing. And look, it's your first time on the channel. Hey, I talk about IT news, cybersecurity, job tips, you name it. I talk about all that. And if you'll be interested in that, make sure you're going to hit that subscribe button right there. Now, guys, time to do story time. Well, first things first. Hope you guys are noticing like the great video quality I got on here. Let me show you what I got. Look what I got. Sony A6100. And, you know, that's what I'll be shooting on. Want to get something good for current subs, future subs, let you guys know I'm not playing. I'm dedicated to giving you guys good content. But I don't know how long it's going to be. It's not scripted. This is going to be me just talking. So, as you guys know, in my first ever video, I told you guys about how I got started my cybersecurity career, and we're gonna cut to it right now. I kid you not. I was playing ball one day, LA Fitness, and I got the email. It was like, "Hey, this is so-and-so manager from XYZ. I want to know when's the earliest you can come in to meet and talk with me." I told him, I said, "Hey, I can come right now." And he talked, he said, "So when can you start?" I said, "Today if you want me to." So that was good. So around March 2017 is when I finally started my career. All right, we're back. And so it's strange because this was my first cybersecurity role. And yeah, let's get into it. So I started working for the company, and granted, and hindsight is always 2020, guys. Hindsight is always 2020. This is me basically working, and at this time, since it's my first time, I don't know what I should know like I know now. Going in, you know what I'm saying, at the time, this was a very prominent company. Of course, they split now. I want to say the name, but I'm not gonna divulge the name. You go to my LinkedIn. Go to my LinkedIn. Like I said, you can figure out who it is. You can figure it out. Because the position I had prior to where I'm at now. But starting off, it was good. I mean, starting off was good in general just because like I was getting paid more. So if you getting paid more, everything is gonna be good opposed to what you came from. But as it started going on, man, just stuff was just weird, man. Like we were using, so I'm gonna tell you guys, dang, if I tell you guys the SIEM, somebody might can guess. So I'm gonna tell you, we were using that particular company's proprietary SIEM, and some vendors use it bundled with their other services that this company uses, because this company is famous for, I'll just do it like this. I ain't gonna tell you who it is, but I'm gonna tell you what they famous for. This company is famous for antivirus. So hey, I ain't never tell you who it was. I just told you what they did. But so they used to couple that with some of their own proprietary SIEM. And if you guys don't know, in layman's terms, all a SIEM does is pretty much you can send logs of all your different data that you have in your network and your environment, and you can correlate rules based on whatever log information you have to give you alerts. Look at the alerts. If the alert leads you to find out that something is going on, then it can turn into an incident. So there you guys go for SIEMs. I'll do another video on SIEMs eventually. But moving along, so we're using that, and to actually back it up, the reason why we all were brought in is because this company was starting their own SOC because the company they were splitting from was taking their SOC with them. So they was like, we gotta get some people in here. So, you know, cool. So they get a bunch of people in there, bring in some contractors, and we rock it. So everybody, I think people start at different days, but even by the time that I started, they technically hadn't started doing anything. I think they were waiting. We had to wait on like the cutoff date, which is if I started in March of 2017, I think mid-April, something was when like we finally kind of like took over. And I could tell then that they didn't really know what they was doing. like we're talking to the other team and they aren't in the US, so we had to schedule our stuff around them. Were they in South America or something? I don't know. I can't remember where they were from. And even what they were showing us wasn't. I just put it like this way: your first impression is sometimes the best impression, and best can either be good or bad. It could be like, oh man, I really know what they're about, or your best impression of them is what you get. It's like, that ain't it, chief. And honestly, man, going through there, like, it didn't show us anything. So after they split, we didn't know what we was doing. And it's a harsh truth, guys. I'm gonna let you guys in on something. Everybody's looking to get into this field and everything else. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of these big companies don't know what they're doing, especially when it comes to cybersecurity. And this was apparent, and it was crazy that this person was supposed to be a big time player and didn't know what they were doing. And luckily, nothing too big happened while we were there, but no documentation, no playbooks. Man, they were doing all type of stuff like, so you have consultants, like sometimes you got sales teams, consultants. They call the guy professional services. They bring these guys in, and all we literally want to know how to do is, hey, how do we use this SIM? Like, how do we use it, bro? That's all we want to know. And they talking about theory and read this homework on war and this and that. None of this stuff helped us do our job good at all, man. None of it. And we was like, what? And one of the coworkers that worked with me there, actually two of them, we all went to the new location where I'm at now, and one of us is still together now. And we was just like, bro, can you find us anybody that's used this to tell us what to do, how to use this? And no, like they put a couple of us through some training for it. It wasn't much. All I got from the training is the why. The why is what makes you look into something. And somewhat of a good tip how their SIM operated was like, if you see a lot of something, it might be normal. A small amount of something possibly is abnormal, so look into it. So that's what I used to do. Like, I was using the SIM. We didn't have all these alerts going in and that, but I finally figured out how to do something. Like, the only thing you couldn't search that well in it, so I just would regex everything with a wild card. And I would, like, for example, I'd be like regex CVE dash, and then I would do like okay, this thing's all over the place, guys. But one of the biggest things about this SIM didn't work good. We had to open 5 different browsers to access all the same thing, but it was in different locations instead of just having one. It was not tuned, so they literally plugged it up and just turned it on. The engineer for the SIM was horrible. He was good at maintaining it, but he wasn't good at content. We had nobody doing content on this at all. Nobody was doing content on the SIM. Like, okay. I'm past that now. I have flashbacks because it's like, think about chickens with their head cut off, man. They used to try to do all types of things and they didn't know like what was going on. They would bring people in and not tell us about things, have them working on stuff and we didn't know. And it just left a bad taste in our mouth. Like, it was a big incident going on and we didn't know anything about it. Granted, you still have like your incident response team, this and that, but we didn't have all that. It was us and a guy that we barely knew that they brought in who backfired on him. And I'm definitely not talking about that because that's legal. I ain't talking about that at all. But we didn't know nothing about that either. And so the whole time something big is going on, we are left out of the blue. We're left out of the blue and we're not doing anything. We're literally coming to work and doing nothing. Literally. Doing nothing. And that sucks. But like I said, guys, this ain't scripted. So we moved past that. We finally get some good people. One of the other best guys I work with, he started coming in and he knew right away. I tell from his body language, he knew like they didn't know what was going on, what they were doing. and they put him in charge of a lot of stuff, but they should have made this guy the manager. Should have told y'all this. The person that they made the manager had never managed the SOC before and didn't really have security experience like that. Every time you asked them, hey, what are we supposed to do with this and that? I don't know. He didn't know nothing. And I'm not saying like he was stupid. This wasn't his forte. This was something he had never did before. You can't bring somebody in to stand up a SOC that's never worked in a SOC before. I'm sorry. You can't do that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. I think he came from support or something else in the company, which is fine if they want to have a division for that and he ran that. But no, he didn't know what he was doing. So that was strike one, which I didn't really figure out until months in, knowing that he didn't know what he was doing. So that's like one of the big things. Then you brought in a more qualified guy to make him an underling, and he should have been running the whole show. Because they had so they ended up firing the manager that didn't know what he was doing. Like they want to blame him. I was advocating for the other guy, and I don't want to do this, but he was black. Not the manager. The guy I wanted to be the manager was black. And it just seemed like they probably wasn't trying to hire him to be the manager. So they didn't want to do that. On top of, while we were there, I was a part of WannaCry. And WannaCry deserves its own video, but I'm just gonna tell you guys, nobody really was prepared for WannaCry, but we definitely weren't prepared, because from the time WannaCry started till I got laid off, all they was concerned about was WannaCry. I promise to God, all it was WannaCry. Send us the networking, blah, 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 this or that, WannaCry. Cool. After that happens, they bring in this other guy to be the manager. We're thinking this and that, and he's gonna be, the best thing since sliced bread. It's another internal guy who's never ran a SOC before. He wrote some documents and this and that, but he didn't know what he was doing either, because he didn't have a clear path. He didn't have a clear path for saying, okay, we're right here. Like when it comes to maturity levels, we were in a 1. It takes 2 or 3 years to probably move to stage 2 or 3. By the time you get to I think a maturity level of 5, and I could be wrong, but this is stuff I learned in my management class. I got to get out my books. When you get that last level of maturity, that's like 4, 5, 6, 7 years sometimes when you finally get to a mature spot. We were nowhere near that, and that guy didn't help. It was pretty much a resume booster for this man to take this job and say, oh, hey, I ran a SOC for a year or 2. Let me come work here, because he was from sales. And I love sales guys. Sales guys are cool. They know how to sell the stuff, but they don't know what we actually do unless they ever did it. And I could be wrong, but it's been proven to be true. Then they come get a guy to be a director who never was a director over cybersecurity. They did intelligence, but it was different intelligence. They did different intelligence. They didn't even know. These guys didn't even know a SOC was supposed to be 24/7. They didn't know SOC was supposed to be 24/7. We had issues like out the wazoo. Like they would have meetings and this and that. And I've always been outspoken. I always ask questions, because I always know it's people on my team that's scared to, because sometimes they don't want to feel like, hey, I don't know this. I don't want nobody laughing at me. I don't care. If I don't know, I don't know. I want to know how to do my job, because I don't want to get fired because I did something wrong. And I had the opportunity to say, hey, I don't understand this. And they were talking about this and that. And I asked one guy, I said, hey, do you know what you're supposed to do? And he gave me an honest answer. No, I don't. All I know, I'm supposed to do this. That's all he knew. We get into, this is the killer part, and I understand why. They spend all this money on a beautiful new SOC. Beautiful. But the killer part is they spent all the money on that, but no training for us. No bringing in no consultants, say, hey, this is how you do this and that. We got to be responsible for this. None of that. Like, I'm happy that nothing major happened to that company when I was there, because we would have been at fault, but it wasn't going to be our fault because we didn't have access to do what we needed to do. I'm sorry, we didn't. So if you move on from that, and then that's around the time when they start talking about, I don't know who even told us, but they came in one day and told us, hey, you guys need to learn how to program. Why? Everybody that's in the SOC don't need to know how to program. That doesn't help you be a better analyst. One of the top guys that worked with them, he knew how to program this and that, but he didn't ever really do it work in the SOC. He knew about programming and stuff like that, but he didn't know what he was doing. Like, we barely had a ticketing system and this and that. Like, we didn't, man, listen. It was trash, bro. Garbo. It's crazy because after that, and it's not me boasting. Anybody that worked there could tell you that I was their best person. That at the time I was like level 1, and it's not me to say, oh, I'm the best, but I just work hard. Everywhere I go, I work hard, and I want to make a name for myself. I don't have any time to slack, because if I'm slacking, somebody's trying to usurp me, and I don't got time for that. But you know what I'm saying, a person, this is when I first learned about how, you know, corporate America is. I worked super hard for this company, even though I didn't know I was doing. Like, for example, I made myself be busy. So remember I told you that the SIEM wasn't tuned? This is what I used to do. Every day I go in there and look for old CVEs. I get a list, I put them in Excel file and say, hey, I seen all these old CVEs. They do not affect our environment. Please remove these from alerting in our SIEM so we can actually focus on what's important. So I used to find like most of all those old CVEs and stuff like that all the time. I'll find like every day. And you know what I'm saying, we didn't have a list of scanners or this and that. Like, we didn't have a lot of stuff that we needed, we didn't have. But I was putting in work, you know what I'm saying, thinking, hey, surely they're gonna see it. You know, I'm putting in work, even though they don't know what to do, but I'm putting in work. January come around of 2018, and that particular day I remember like it was yesterday. I'm walking up to the office, and I see one of my teammates. He's walking out with a box, and I'm like, man, did they just get him? And so I go in, director comes in, they get me going there, talk to HR. It's basically like, yeah, we're letting you go because you know, we're doing restructuring in the company, aka we laying off. And yeah, you know, your boy works hard for him, and I got laid off for that. And it's cool. It is what it is. But they did that, and then they just started going down and down. Like, that company, as far as SOC wise, really as a whole has went down. It's lost a lot of its luster because they didn't have any identity or direction on what they wanted to do in the future. This is bit by video, like, you know, one of the worst SOCs I worked at, man. It's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? This is happening, guys. So I want to tell you guys something. I'm gonna do a video about make sure how to keep your data safe and this and that, because, well, then again, it won't matter if the company don't keep it safe. But I'm telling you, every big company does not have their stuff in order. So just be mindful and watch out and check. You know, I'm not gonna advocate for you to be on the dark web, but just be mindful that something could happen, and let you know everybody ain't putting their best foot forward for your information. But I appreciate you guys. If you made it this far in the video, hate, comment, like, subscribe, share it on your social media, and yeah, let me know what you took from the video. It's your boy HD. I'm out.